Welcome, everyone, to Seneca Lake, New York. At the southern edge of the Finger Lakes region lies a majestic 2.45-mile road course that the Winstel Cup Series gets to try to conquer here tonight. Welcome, everyone, to Watkins Glen International for the Sirius at the Glen here on ABN. 11 races to go in the season, including tonight. 3 races to go until the chase for the Winstel Cup. The clock is ticking for those that try to make the chase for the Cup. And Watkins Glen is another path, another piece of the gauntlet to try to get there. Qualifying currently underway here in New York. Before we get into some of the theatrics around qualifying here, almost everybody on laps already. Let's go ahead and walk through the points going in here tonight. Emily Howe, points leader going into this race. It's been back and forth the last few weeks between her and her and Dylan Roberts. 24 points the gap between those two going into this race. Both of them expected to be contenders here tonight as well as they were in Sonoma. Jacob Potak, 57 points back, missed a couple races, but still safely in. This is the stretch of the season where he was concerned he was going to miss some races, and that has been the case. He is present tonight, so we'll see where he stands after tonight's race, but again, still safely in. You look at those further down the order, that's where the sweating begins as far as trying to make the top 10 for the chase for the Winstel Cup. Jeremy Davis also in relative safety given the races coming up here. Indianapolis up next. Richmond coming up as well. Should be relatively safe throughout these next 3 races to make the chase for the Winstel Cup. Gabriel Mauricio a little bit hotter. Not terrible yet, but he's there, 160 points back. Then you look at Nick Doucette, Christian Budd, Tyler Head, Sean Pellig, and Brandon McKissick. That's where it gets a little bit more spicy. Obviously, the last 2 series champions, Christian Budd and Tyler Head, 7th and 8th. Sean Pellig, his race win at Sonoma, backing that up with a good result in Daytona. Going to try to keep that trend going here in Watkins Glen. Brandon McKissick should be pretty decent here in the 42 car here tonight. He's missed several races. He's been very on and off this summer. So we'll see if he can secure that spot in the top 10. Those on the outside looking in, Christina Ryan did not have a great race at Daytona. Ryan Andrew right ahead of her by about 11 points going in. Again, the 9th and 10th very much up for grabs. And depending on how this race goes, 7th and 8th could be in threat as well. Brandon McGee needs a little bit of help. This is not going to be his forte tonight, so he's going to need a lot of help here in New York. Kyle Benson, Evan Locke, Jose Solis Jr., Ryan Hill have a little bit more work to do over these next 3 races. Austin Reedy needs to find some consistency if he's going to try to be in the top 10. Larry Pace, we know how good he can be. He's going to try to show it here tonight, but he's also going to try to show it in Indianapolis next week. Philip Snipes, realistically, you start looking at people that are not in it as we go into this event. Qualifying is done and dusted. So let's go ahead and go into the qualifying results. Jacob Potak, we talked about how good he typically is in a showing. Pole position ahead of Josh Chen by 0.2 of a second. He is on fire here in New York. Josh Chen alongside on the front row. Christian Budd, we talked about him needing to secure himself in the chase for the Winstel Cup. 3rd place starting grid, really good chance to do that here tonight. Dylan Roberts, Nick Doucette, Sean Pellig, Lucas Davila, Ryan Hill, Steve Brown, Jeremy Davis coming out to play as well. They're your top 10, your first 5 rows on your screen. And again, a lot of drivers that are at the very edge of the top 10 in the points are currently starting in the top 10 here. Row 6, Ryan Doucette, Christian Poe, Greg Lautenslager, and Christina Ryan in row 7. Row 8 is where you'll find Emily Howe and Parker Alexander. Emily Howe feels out of position, almost a second behind Potak. Not what we were expecting from the 15 camp here tonight. But alongside her teammate there in Alexander in row 8, we'll see what happens there. McKissick and Barabee, teammates for Chip Ganassi Racing in row 9. Evan Mellinson and Tom Willett in row 10. Gabriel Mauricio and Tyler Head in row 11. Tyler Head not super fond of the road courses, not super fond of Watkins Glen. Starting in row 11, I had a Jose Solis Jr. and Anthony Krobach, who make up row 12. Brennan McGee and Philip Snipes sit in row 13, and then it's row 14. Tyler King, his second career race. Let's see what he can do from 27th alongside Brandon Coppinger. Tyler Murray and Chris Bishop make up row 15 together. And then you look a little further down, you got Brandon Cruz, 32nd place, not listed on the screen. It's Andy Trupiano, Kirk Marble and Kyle Benson in the 17th row. Andrew Griesbaum and Evan Locke in row 18. Row 19 is Ken Evan, Corey Steinhauser, and Hayden Reifus in 39th will make up the final spot on the grid. So again, I welcome everyone to Sirius at the Glen, race 15 of 25 here tonight. As we get ready for action here in upstate New York. It is two of the road course aces at the front of the field with Jacob Kotak and Josh Chen. Remember how the last road course race went, though? It was Sean Peleg that got the race win. Bailed out by a very fortunate caution at an opportune time. Do we see that again tonight? That is going to be the magic question. Ryan Doucette clipping the grass a little bit down the back straightaway. Get everyone used to some of the conversation here. Those in green, as you're seeing here a lot of on the ticker at the top of your screen, currently in the chase for the Winstel Cup. Those in yellow, those on the outside looking in, but within reasonable range, in like a race distance of the chase, they're in yellow. So the likes of Emily Howe, Brendan McGee, Parker Alexander, Brandon McKissick. Brandon McKissick actually, so they've actually gone and they've actually went ahead and they've made the 9th and 10th spots yellow as well. Those in red are those that are mathematically impossible, so they can't get in no matter what. So they've gone ahead and they've made the final spots in the chase yellow as well. So we'll keep an eye on that too. But again, it's about being top 10 in points by the time we get through Richmond in 2 weeks. Field gets ready to roll. 30 laps. It is Kotak and Josh Chen at the front of the field. The defending champion in third, Christian Butt alongside Dylan Roberts. The green flag flies and the series at the Glen is underway. 3 wide already. Ryan Hill and that Jim Beam number 7. Nick Doucette in the middle. Lucas Davila, the Argentine, on the inside lane, and it's Doucette that loses out as they go up the hill. Everyone traversing the S's. Pretty good on the opening lap. That was an expected trouble spot, and we got through it. And everyone getting through the bus stop good as well. Everyone minding their P's and Q's. This was a chaotic race last year. Trouble for Trupiano and for Coppinger at the back of the field. No caution. Everyone gets it rolling again. And we'll see what happened here on the replay. Was inside the top 20, and just a little bit of a bump there by Trupiano to Coppinger. Everyone steps aside, and we are good. But they're at the back of the field now. A little bit of trouble. At the front of the field, it is Josh Chen that leads the way over Kotak. Got the leap on turn 1, lap 1. Wasted no time attacking the Pulsatrix to get to the front of the field, trying to make up for what he lost in Sonoma. See, there he is right now. Started in second place, gained 1 spot early, and caution's out. Caution has come out, and it looks like it is for a couple of drivers here. Looks like Craig Lautenschlager has had to tow. That is a huge chunk of bodywork removed from the 99. Let's take a look as to why this happened. And it's up the hill. Champeau's in the wall first, so this is a compound issue. Let's back it up here and get a better camera angle. Going up the hill, so it actually starts with Chris Champeau, side by side with Steve Brown. This is in the top 10. Because there's Doucette, there's both Nick and Ryan Doucette. And Steve Brown just a little loose up the hill, tag Champeau. Several cars involved in this. Our first caution of the night. Let's see what he sees here up the hill. We'll back it up a little bit because it gives us right when Champeau hit the wall. Started this race in 13th, had a really good qualifying session, Lautenschlager did. And that's where he loses all of it. Just the recoil from Steve Brown hitting Champeau. And he knows what's going on right now. He knows he can't steer because he's missing a whole chunk of his car. So he pulls to a stop. This is going to be a nasty hit for Champeau. Riding up board. You can hear the bodywork dragging on the ground as well. It's a very offsetting sound. And Lautenschlager, Brown, and Champeau all on pit lane at this point. Very unfortunate there. First caution of the night out here. 3-car crash from Champeau, Brown, and Lautenschlager. Lights out on the pace car, which means we're going green at the end of this lap, and it is Josh Chin and Jacob Potak that lead the way here in Watkins Glen. Dylan Roberts in third, Christian Budd in fourth. Lucas Davila in the top 5, then it's Sean Peleg, Ryan Hill, Jeremy Davis, Nick Doucette, Ryan Doucette, Brandon McKissick, Emily Howe, Christina Ryan, and Gabriel Mauricio, your top 14. As the field catches up, you're making some pit stops here. Not everyone took pit stops on this first caution of the night. Really, you're looking at your top 26, top 27 all stayed out. It's just those that were in the back of the pack. Tyler King, Kirk Marble, Andrew Griesbaum, Brandon Coppinger, Andy Trupiano, who had that scuffle with Coppinger on lap 1. Steinhauser, they all came down pit lane. Chris Champeau's day officially done. I would not be surprised if Steve Brown and Craig Lautenschlager, their days were also done, because they all practically unrecoverable in this race. Steve Brown had a mechanical issue, but he is out rolling a lap down now. He already got the free pass once. You get him one of those laps back, he is now just one lap down. As Josh Chin and Jacob Potak lead us back to the green flag. for our first restart of the night. Green flag flies and away we go. Down to turn 1. Attack sails it in, but can't get close to Josh Chin. Car goes wide, further behind, and I believe that's wasn't Jeremy Davis. Jeremy Davis side by side with Nick Doucette as they go up through the S's again. Everyone navigating the opening lap of this restart. All things considered, pretty well. That was Parker Alexander that was out really wide, exiting the carousel. Go down towards turn 1 once again. It's so fun watching these drivers take on Watkins Glen. It's so fun. It doesn't matter really the track, whether the car, I should say, whether it's these Gen 4 machines, Gen 7, Gen 6s, the Avian Champ Car machines, sports cars, doesn't matter. It's just so fun watching these cars attack Watkins Glen. We get to see that in spades. Trouble for Kroback. The 11 went into the grass, and we'll give a couple spots here. Gave up to Kyle Benson and trying to avoid giving up to Evan Locke. This is 24th where Kroback is, and he will give up to Evan Locke here for that 24th spot. So Locke up to 23rd. Two-horse race at the front once again. These two have been trading fastest laps and fastest sectors all race long under green, and they have pulled over a second on Dylan Roberts. And they are letting it hang out on the top of the hill. Going to the bus stop. Around. Exit of the carousel now towards turn 6. To be honest, I'm really impressed riding on board with Potak. Maybe pull a good track map here. There we go. That's where everyone's at right now. Around this 2.45 mile road course. Focusing right now in second place, Potak. Chasing on the leader and Josh Chin. Evan Locke in pit lane and coming out of pit lane. See his hands moving around with the 22. Always a wild time, wild sensation. course, Josh Chen not racing the full season. You see Jacob Kotak's stats compared to Josh Chen's. 4 less starts. His most recent top 5 came in his 2nd place at Sonoma. Left Dylan Roberts in the dust. 3rd place for the number 6 team. But right now, Dylan Roberts has the championship lead once again as things run. Christian Budd, his teammate, in 4th. Sean Peleg, really good at these road courses. 1 at Sonoma. He's top 5 right now here in Watkins Glen, although a little bit more distant than I think he'd like to be to the race leaders. This was very reminiscent of how Sonoma went, though, last month. Ryan Hale behind them. That is 6th place. Ahead of Lucas Davila, looking for a good run of form. Argentine sitting in 7th. And Mihal up to 8th. Having gotten around Jeremy Davis and Brandon McKissick. Nick Doucette in 11th. Christina Ryan, former ABN World Champion, in 12th, ahead of Gabriel Mauricio. And caution not out. Saw lights flash up on our screen, thought it was the yellow flag. It is not. Giving us a little bit of a panic attack there. Ryan Doucette in 14th, though, would like to have a caution. He has fallen back a decent amount since the restart. Was in the top 10, was in 9th place on the restart. Has dropped down to 14th place. He's now ahead of Tyler Head, who's also been struggling a little bit. He's already up 7 spots from where he started. Started this race 22nd. Still not his kind of race. Jordan Barabee in the 16th spot, up 2 positions. He started this race in 18th. Marcus Alexander in his excursion off track earlier has him down in 17th place, ahead of Evan Mellinson, who's in the 19 tonight. Mellinson was in the 36. Centrix machine. That is not the case now. He is now teammates with Brennan McGee. For Everham Motorsports, Jose Solis Jr. also out of position. It feels like should be a little bit higher up the course. That is not the case. He is in the 19th spot. Kyle Benson from 34th to 20th at the moment as things sit. Brennan McGee had himself an off-track excursion as well a couple laps ago. He is in the 21st spot. Tom Willett is in the 22nd position. He has lost 2 spots. He started this race 20th. Kirk Marble in the 16 car sitting 23rd. Andy Trupiano, whose name is a gap right now. We don't have him registered in as part of the broadcast system right now. So he's the gap spot. He's 24th. Philip Snipes in 25th, and then it's Brandon Cruz in 26th in that Home Depot number 20. Anthony Kroback in 27th, Tyler King in 28th, Andrew Griesbaum in 29th ahead of Tyler Murray. As the field spreads out a little bit, you see the damage on the 7 car. He has had a not fun time here at Watkins Glen so far. There is Corey Steinhauser going around in 31st, 32nd Ken Huff in that number 10. Brandon Coppinger in 33rd. Evan Locke after his early pit stop in 34th. Ahead of Hayden Repas, the 89 and 35th. And Chris Bishop, he had an excursion. He is in pit lane now, and the repair work begins as the leaders come around turn 1 once again, starting lap 13 of 30 here in New York. continuing to keep each other honest. 4 seconds adrift of the rest of the field as things stand. Again, it's all about for Josh Chen claiming what was lost in Sonoma. Was the dominant factor in California that day. A late caution during the pit stop sequence. Throws him behind the 8 ball and he never recovered. This race, not only nothing like Sonoma, but nothing like last year's race here at the Glen. 1 yellow, and that was on lap 2. Then green 6. Pit stops under green beginning, and this time in earnest. Ryan Doucette in pit lane right now, coming to his box. See the remnants of the 99 of Lautenschläger. Ryan Doucette in pit lane. This is, I believe, a scheduled stop. This was looking to be like a 1-stop race under green. If you can stretch to about lap 16, you should be good. We're on the cusp of that now. Dylan Roberts in 3rd. Trying to stay that way. Christian Budd keeping him honest. Sean Pellig in the 5th spot. Looking for an opportunity to do what he did in Sonoma. Josh Chen in, Emily Howe in, Jeremy Davis, Nick Doucette, Gabriel Mauricio, they're all down pit lane on lap 15. Everyone else staying out just a little bit. Jacob Potak will take the lead of the race for the time being. We get to figure out here what's going to work, overcut or undercut. I have a sneaking suspicion it will be the overcut. It works out here just a little bit better. But people hedging their bets, so we'll see. Typically the overcut does work out. You want to have the warm tires over cold tires. Worn but warm tires typically give you a little bit more grip than brand new but cold tires. Here comes Potak. 1 lap overcut. Dylan Roberts stays out. Then so we'll have another new race leader in Dylan Roberts. Your current points leader as things sit live. Will take the top spot. His teammate Christian Budd in 2nd. Sean Pellig for Hendrick Motorsports in 3rd. Lucas Davila up to 4th place as well as things sit, but he's been a top 10 car all race. Brandon McKissick 5th, Christina Ryan in 6th. Again, pit stop sequence still ongoing. And for those wondering, Jacob Potak losing out to Josh Chen. Doesn't look like he gained or lost much of anything there. Looks like Chen may have gained about a couple tenths on him on the outlap, but still 1st and 2nd, pretty well nose to tail. 2-lap overcut, and here comes your race leader, Dylan Roberts. Christian Budd will take a 5-point bonus for leading a lap here. So it's Christian Budd and Sean Pellig that now sit 1-2. Roberts, Davila, and Ryan in. Budd, Pellig, and McKissick stay out. Barabee, Alexander, Solis all come in as well. Kirk Marbleton on lap 3. He's going to stay out, I think, an extra lap here. And they have come up on lap traffic. That is King, Cruz, and Griesbaum. But they're trying to navigate around. And this will slow them down. This will cost them time in their position battle with Dylan Roberts, Lucas Davila, and with others. Sean Pellet came in hot there. I believe they're coming down pit lane this time. They are, and a little bit of contact. Brandon Cruz gets hip checked in a massive way, and a great save to keep that car from going into the wall on the outside. That was wild. Kirk Marble, does he come down pit lane? Yes, he does. And we're back to where we were before. Josh Chen, Jacob Potak, half a second apart, ahead of the rest of the field, head and shoulders above the rest of the field here as they approach lap traffic. That's the 89 in turn 1, Hayden Rapus, who is going to let both of them go through with no issue. Roberts and Davis, 3rd and 4th. Looks like Davis will stay in 5th once Sean Pellet comes out of pit lane. Pellet with a better stop gains a spot on that exchange overall. He is now 4th. Christian Budd down to 6th. And it's Ryan Hill, Emily Howell, Nick Dusetting, Gabriel Mauricio, who got a leapfrog during that pit cycle over McKissick, over Davila, and Christina Ryan, who stays consistently in that 13th spot. Your biggest mover, it's not pretty. It's not in the top 10 right now, but it is Kyle Benson, up 16 spots in this race. 34th currently to 19th place. Make that 18th, should be 18th spot with that update, because he just got around Evan Mellinson for that position. And he's going to try to add one with Solis, who's got some damage on the passenger side of that car, that right side. So he's going to gain another spot here, make that up 17 spots from where he started this race when he crosses the line again. There you go. Doing a pretty decent job, Kyle Benson is. Tight-knit group of cars right now. Alexander, Benson, Solis, and Mellinson on their own little island. They're about a second and a half behind Jordan Barabee. Ryan Hill feeling the pressure from Emily Howe and Nick Doucette behind. This is 7th, 8th, and 9th. Sailing into turn 1. With 11 laps to go. Let's go ahead and show some live points while we're running here. It is a 4-point gap in favor of Dylan Roberts. A 28-point swing as things stand. Roberts in 3rd, Emily Howe in 8th. See that on your screen. Jacob Potak in 2nd. That top 3 is getting a lot tighter. Really, you look at the top 4, Jeremy Davis in 5th. He's also closing in a little bit on that top spot. Gabriel Mauricio in 12th. He's sitting 5th in points right now. Look at those on the fringe. Christian Budd having a decent day. He's in 6th. Nick Doucette in 9th, also having a good day. Sean Pelleg in 4th. He's adding himself some padding. McKissick in 10th. He's ahead of who he needs to be right now in that 10th spot. 387 points between him and the points leader, Dylan Roberts, as things run. Christina Ryan up to 11th place. But that's a 50-point swing that she's got to navigate through Indianapolis and Richmond. Brennan McGee 12th, Kyle Benson 13th. That's Evan Locke and Ryan Hill, your top 15. Those on the outside looking in. as things run. Not a great time for Solis, Andrew, and Reedy. They are currently outside the top 15. Philip Snipes and Parker Alexander, 19th and 20th as things run. With 10 laps to go. I mean, the 9 to go. A little bit more lap traffic. That's Coppinger, who's not going to make life too difficult for Josh Chen. Kotek also got through pretty well, as clean as you'd like. Dylan Roberts in third, Sean Pellig in fourth. Sean Pellig letting it all hang out in turn one. Looking for another podium. Right now he's already doing pretty good, looking at another consecutive top 5 finish. Overall, pretty impressive. The way this summer has turned around for the 48 camp, it looked really difficult for that 48 camp early on. DNF 7 of the first 9. Since then, it's been everything but ordinary, and he has been electric. Fast lap of the race so far, answering the question that was posted live. Fast lap of the race, it belongs to Jacob Potak, 111.31 for Jacob Potak. Type that out, that way you can see it on the Twitch chat as well. Top 2 are the 2 fastest cars on the racetrack, undisputed right now. As I was talking about with Sean Pellig's run of form so far, obviously race win at Sonoma, great way to start off the return from the summer break. 7th place in Chicagoland, so another consecutive top 10 there. 4th in Daytona last Sunday, so top 10s all the last 3 races, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and right now looking for another top 5 and a top 10 here tonight. Would make it 3 of 4 on the top 5s. And we've had an incident, with Parker Alexander. Let's go ahead and take a look. What has happened to the 8 of Alexander? He was in that fight outside the top 15. To the bus stop. Ooh, really bad, nasty snap there for Alexander. Didn't tag the wall, I don't think, so unless something broke on his end, not sure what happened. Nasty snap, though, entering the bus stop. Not what we normally expect to see. Josh Chen in the race lead. Jacob Potak in second, trying to give chase. It is those 2 on their own little island. Dylan Roberts dealing with traffic has closed him up to Sean Pellig, the 4th place car. Try to let it all hang out here with 6 laps to go. Navigating around Coppinger, there's Steinhauser, the 55. Steinhauser going wide, giving the race leaders some real estate through turn 1. Gave up a spot to Coppinger as well in the meantime there. This is 8 seconds behind the race leaders. It just explains how dominant Chen and Potak have been here in New York so far today. We'll be seeing a little bit more of Watkins Glen later on this month, August 13th. The Avian Champ Car World Series comes back to play after their summer break comes to an end. That is next Wednesday. And the Avian World Championship will be right back here on Twitch, 8 p.m. Olivia Hayward, Rick James in the booth for that one. It's going to be a lot of fun next Wednesday on August 13th. Going around right now as things sit. Got around Trupiano. Waiting to see if Pele does make a move here. This is the closest battle we've got going on racetrack right now, and it's for a podium spot. Both first and third up for grabs right now. Four laps to go. Pele looked to the inside for a moment, didn't go with it. I think it's all about Prashant Pele trying not to give Roberts a chance to respond to it. Ooh, really close there. Roberts really messed up the exit of turn one. Pele had no choice but to go for it. And so the dance continues. As they roll through. Bus stop once more. Coming to 3 laps to go. Laps to go. Saw Pele have to overcorrect there. Was really loose on the exit of 7. A little bit of battle here as well. Jeremy Davis got loose out of 6, got even looser out of 7, and he's under threat now from Brandon McKissick and Lucas Davila. Davila trying to get into the top 10. Right now he's in the top 10. You look at his season so far, one other top 10 this season. It's been a rough go for Davila. Right now he is in the position he wants to be in. The top 10 would go a long way for 34 count. Again, the battle rages on. The third and for first. The first place battle not nearly as intense as the third place battle is with 2 laps to go. Less than a quarter second between these two. It's a half second and change at the top of the order. This is what the gap at the front looks like. Again, Jacob Potak trying to manage the best he can right now. Josh Chen's just been a little bit better all race. Looking for that race win. Make things happen. Now we pulled up Potak's stats earlier. 4 wins this season. He was looking for number 5 this year. As it comes with the white flag. Seems like he'll have to wait another week for that. This battle for third is going to be insane. I'm so excited. We're watching the race leaders as they come around to take the white flag. 1 lap to go here at the Sirius at the Glen. It is Josh Chen. He missed out on pole position, but was not going to be denied a chance at the race win. Grabbed the race lead earlier, and he did not look back. These two really going at it for third. Peleg's got a couple more shots at it. Drifts out wide, not where you want to be. He's going to give up one of those opportunities, and that's the bus stop. He's really going to have to turn 6 left to try to make something happen here. I don't think Peleg's going to be necessarily too upset with another 4th place finish in the top 5. Missing on the podium is still going to hurt a little bit. Emily Howe's gained another couple spots here. I think Emily Howe's going to end up back in the points lead at a turn 7 for the last time here in New York. Josh Chen takes what he lost in Sonoma. He grabs his first career win in Winstel, and he wins in Watkins Glen. Jacob Potak finishes 2nd. And Dylan Roberts will hold on to take 3rd place. Another podium for the 6th car. Sean Peleg in 4th, Christian Budd, your defending champion, in 5th. Rounds out the top 5 there. Emily Howe in 6th. Ryan Hill, Nick Doucette. Lucas Davila, Jeremy Davis, Christina Ryan ends up in the 11th spot. But it is all Josh Chen, your race winner here tonight. I'll pull up the top 5 point standings. Emily Howe did just enough to gate back to the championship lead. The gap, though, a lot smaller than it was, 4 points. Potak, Davis, Mauricio, your top 5. Brandon McKissick messing up there, finishing 16th. Puts him a lot closer to Christina Ryan. 410 points behind your championship leader. Christina Ryan now only 25 points away. Very manageable as we head to Indianapolis next Sunday. There's Christina Ryan, speaking of. But it is Josh Chen that gets to celebrate here in New York. A first-time race winner in Winstel. Took about 5 weeks longer than he would have liked. But he grabs the race win. He's going to spin it out a little bit, run out of fuel, and that'll do it for Josh Chen. We'll go through the full running order, and then we'll talk to our podium finishers here. Josh Chen, Jacob Potak, and Dylan Roberts on the docket for our interviews tonight. They finished 1, 2, and 3. Sean Peleg gave a good fight to Dylan Roberts. Roberts survived to finish in that 3rd spot. Christian Budd in 5th. He'll take that on the chin and move on to Indianapolis next Sunday. Emily Howe, Ryan Hill, Nick Doucette, Lucas Davila, and Jeremy Davis round out a very game top 10 here tonight. Christina Ryan, 11th on the racetrack, 11th in the points. We'll talk about the points a little bit more further on. Tyler Head, Jordan Barabee, Kyle Benson, and your top 14 tonight. Jose Solis Jr., 15th, ahead of Brandon McKissick, Gabriel Mauricio, and Tom Willett. Your top 18, Evan Mellinson, and Brendan McGee. The teammates finished 19th and 20th there for Ray Abraham Racing here tonight. Kirk Marble, Philip Snipes, Anthony Krovac, Evan Locke, Ryan Doucette, Andrew Griesbaum. Top 26, Griesbaum on down, 1 lap down. That's Griesbaum Cruz. The hidden driver on your screen is Andy Trupiano. Brandon Coppinger and Ken Huff finished top 30. Tyler Kane, the last driver, finished 1 lap down. Hayden Repas, 3 laps from the finish. Then it's Corey Steinhauser, Parker Alexander. These are the drivers 33rd on down that did not finish tonight's race. Steinhauser, Alexander, Murray, Bishop, Brown, Champeau, and Lautenslager all out here tonight. A very attrition-filled race. Let's go ahead and let's talk to our top three here tonight. It's going to be fun to talk to Dylan Roberts and see what his thought was. So he's first on the list. We'll start with third place, Dylan Roberts. Close to the championship lead once again, but a very fun fight all race long. Walk us through it, because that looked like a wild time for 30 laps.
Oh yeah, that was a ton of fun. Hard to drive. The car is an absolute monster. I mean, I'm definitely a big feeling driver, and there's not a lot of feeling in the hands, so it's way out of my comfort zone. And you're working. These are not easy cars to drive. Those two up the road there, Potak and Shin. I mean, they were insane. I can't even comprehend that level of pace. I was absolutely on the edge.
Obviously, the top two, the voodoo magic they've got on these road courses is insane. It also was insane for you as well. Obviously, you didn't get a chance to sort of relax. You saw we kind of panned through the field. There's some drivers that kind of were on their little island. You had a couple of drivers that were sort of they had tandems going on. They were just in a battle between them and one other person. You got to experience everything. It was you and Sean at the end, but you were in a gaggle of cars before the pit stops came around on lap 14 to 16. You talk about the not being able to feel it in the hands. It looked very lively, though, at least on the outside looking in. Was it as lively in the car, or was it just trying to guesstimate?
Oh, it's lively. It's obviously I'm still able to hold on to it, but it's not really what I'm used to. So you're really just kind of swatting at flies at times. It feels like, but that might just be a me issue. And I mean, that's probably the talent difference putting those two up the road so far. But I mean, Sean had me honest there. I meant to take no tires on the pit stop, and I took 4, which was a mistake. I think Sean took 2, and he had a better balance there at the end. I feel like I'm lucky to have held him off. I always love battling with Sean. He has a reputation, but me and him have only ever had great battles and great fun on the track. So it's fun to hold him off. And if he'd have beat me, if we'd have bounced off each other, that's racing. There's some guys you trust, and it's just fun to be able to drive around guys like that. Battle people Bud there earlier on in the race, just people you trust, and it's really fun. A lot of work tonight.
A lot of work tonight, and once again, very close in the championship standings between you and Emily Howe here in the regular season. Jacob Potak, obviously, he puts himself back in that conversation with a good run tonight as well. 2 races to go. Everyone concerned about how this race is going to look out next week at the Brickyard. What are your thoughts going into Indianapolis next Sunday?
Definitely happy that I think I maximized what I could have gotten tonight. I got the bonus point for leading a lap, third to those two up there. I don't think there's any world where I have the talent to compete with them on a road course, at least not right now. And I feel like having as much momentum as possible going into Indy is going to help. There's going to be a lot different type of racing. The draft's really, really strong there. I think you're going to see one of two things. Either we're a big long line saving fuel, or we're all just dive bombing each other on corner entry because of the overspeed. Either way, I'm glad that I am sitting good in the points, because I think it's going to be surprisingly a bit of a wild card. You wouldn't think of Indy as necessarily one, but I think it's going to be quite a different race next week.
It's going to be a lot different the next 2 weeks as well, because after that is the regular season finale in Richmond. The 6 cars look strong since we came back from the summer break in Sonoma. It's been a wild time since then with Chicagoland, Daytona, and obviously here tonight in Watkins Glen, all helping that 6 car out. The 6 cars look good no matter what. If there's anyone to shout and say thank you to before focusing on the Brickyard, the floor is yours. Congrats on another podium.
Thank you so much. And, just a shout out as always to everybody behind the league, everybody that puts these broadcasts on. A lot of work goes into it, and it's just great to have these Sundays. Shout out to everybody who's out there watching, whether they're watching the VOD or live. It's cool to see that there's actually a viewership base for this. Growing up sim racing, you don't expect that. So it's pretty cool.
Absolutely, and it's an outstanding job. And who's not going to watch a race here at Watkins Glen? A beautiful place to be, and a beautiful place to get a podium for Dylan Roberts, P3, and second in the points, 4 points behind Emily Howe going into Indianapolis next Sunday. Dylan, enjoy it, and we'll hopefully talk to you again next week.
Thank you so much.
That was a third place driver, Dylan Roberts. As I mentioned before, second place in points behind Emily Howe going into Indianapolis next Sunday. We'll start with second place, Jacob Potak, who had a very interesting run of form here. It was between him and the 93 all race long. Ultimately, the 93 prevails, but the pole position for Jacob Potak a good indication that the 22 car is back and in good running. Walk us through the race here at Watkins Glen. Everyone's saying that it was a wild fight here all week long just to get the car on the racetrack. It seemed like you and the 93 were head and shoulders above everybody else, though.
Hey, sorry, took a second there. Yeah, it was a tough race. It was really fighting the car the whole time. I mean, it's one of those things where you're like half a second back and you're running the same lap times, and that can maybe look like not much is going on, but every corner, gaining a little bit, losing a little bit, like you're just on edge. It was barely a moment to breathe, and yeah, it was just a really tough battle. But no, good win to Josh. I mean, I just wasn't able to be aggressive enough on that initial start because they're really tough on road courses. You have cold tires, and then you're coming at turn one at a different speed than you are on like a flying lap. So the braking zone's just a lot different. So I definitely played it closer to the chest and just didn't want to cause an incident, and definitely could have been more aggressive there. But yeah, just felt, and also the worst part is just like the bus stop chicane's got that wall, and if you're tucked up right behind somebody, if you just can't see, and so it felt like behind Josh, like I just have to give up like a tenth or two every lap through there, because if you hit that little wall that juts out, that's race ending, and it's just a matter of a foot here, a foot there, and so it just felt like I couldn't connect good laps behind him to get a whole really good run at him, because you just give up a couple tenths there the whole time. So I was just fighting that, but fought really hard, and definitely happy with the points today.
Obviously, a really good points day for the 22 car here tonight. You look ahead at the next two races. Obviously, the 22 car is looking good. Third place in points in that conversation at the top of the standings as well, with Emily Howe and Dylan Roberts tonight. We talked with Dylan Roberts about this. We'll talk to you about this as well. Everyone concerned about the racing coming up here at Indianapolis, the almost IndyCar-esque type draft that you're going to see next week with these 3,400-pound cars. What is your perspective, and what's the aim going into the Brickyard?
I mean, I really love stock car racing in Indianapolis. I definitely feel like I'll be competitive for sure. And just, yeah, the thing with that draft is like you kind of get in spots where with both long straightaways in Indianapolis, like if you just are tucked up behind somebody, even if you lose a tenth or two in the corner, you just get it back by default on the straight, and there's nothing the car in front can do. So a lot of times in Indy, when it's like that, like it's better to be second, and you can just take it easy in the corner on your tires, and then on the straightaways, just gain it back, and the car in front is having to fight through the corners to keep that gap up. And so yeah, it makes for a really definitely not just about hitting your marks, it's also about choosing your moments. But I felt like I've been good at that this year, so hoping to have another good race. I think we will.
You had a really good race here in Watkins Glen, second place, pole position, and obviously still looking for race win number 5 on the season, with 2 races up in the regular season next week at Indy and then 2 weeks in Richmond. A really good opportunity for that 22 to cement itself as the favorite, undisputed, going into the chase for the Winstel Cup. Before we let you go and let you focus on those 2 races, though, if there's anyone you shout out and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on an amazing day overall here in New York.
Yeah, thanks. Definitely want to shout out Joshua. He ran a really good race, just ran pretty much 30 perfect laps, albeit a mistake here or there, and I usually mirrored those mistakes, so that was a really fun race with him, and congrats on the win. And just thanks to you guys for a great broadcast, and thanks to everybody watching, and thanks to the league for putting it on.
A fantastic job, Jacob Potak, second tonight after another pole position. Still looking for race win number 5. Let's see if he can get it next week at the Brickyard. Jacob, congrats.
Thank you.
That was Jacob Potak, your second place finisher here tonight. Josh Chen, the man of the hour, claiming what was lost at Sonoma 4 weeks ago. It felt like it was the sky was falling moment, losing out on that race lead and just never being able to get it back under caution. We had a caution early. That was it. And you got to drive and do your thing. Walk us through it, because that was spectacular.
Yeah, I feel like I kind of stolen from Jacob there with that start. I just got lucky that the timing worked out well for me, and I was able to stay pretty alongside him and have that wide arc through turn 1. That kind of was the difference in the race. I think without that, it would have been pretty even for us, and whoever had the lead was probably going to stay in it. And then Most of it was just managing from there. I knew the first stint, I was kind of pulling him at the end, so I wasn't too worried. It was more just making sure that I pit early enough to cover off if a caution happened, and make sure that no one got the luck that Sean did at Sonoma. And I had to save a little bit of fuel because of that, so he was able to close back up just a little bit. But overall, it worked out pretty well, and can't argue with the pace or the win.
Obviously, we know how good the 93 car is on these road courses, but the 93 cars had pace everywhere. We said this at Sonoma, where the 93 wasn't something we could rule out anywhere, whether it was Chicagoland, whether it was Sonoma, whether it's here at Watkins Glen. Being able to get that first win, obviously a fantastic feeling. What does that say about where this car is? Obviously, having to wait this long into the season to get that first win with the Bricker coming up, is there a chance that this 93 car could possibly go back to back? It's something we've not seen this season, except for once with the car that you beat ahead here tonight.
Unfortunately, I won't be here again until I think the Dover race in September, so
Gotcha.
taking a little bit of time off. But yeah, I like the momentum that I've had. Finishes have been okay, but the pace has been good, which is nice. The finishes don't really matter so much for me running a part-time season. It's frustrating to get wrecked in some of the races like Chicago, but been running well, so I'm not too mad about that. It's just if I run full-time next season, then it'll be about trying to get to the finish and not going to crash as much.
So obviously you're not going to be back until Dover, so that's after Labor Day. So we're going to unfortunately miss you for several weeks here. But what a good way to send off your little string of races here with the race win before we taking about 6-7 weeks off. Outstanding run of form here. Obviously, second place Sonoma, booking ending it with podiums as well. Before we let you go, and obviously get ready for everything coming up here on your end, I believe with FTF, if I'm not mistaken. If there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congrats on the race win to send off your summer here in Winstel.
Yeah, thank you. Just shout out to everyone running this league and putting on the broadcast. It's a fun league to run, and can't wait to run more races after Labor Day.
Absolutely a fantastic job, and we can't wait to see you again after Labor Day as well. He ends off his summer here in Winstel with a race win in New York. With 2 races to go in the regular season, it's now wide open. Josh Chen, congratulations, and good luck, obviously, in the time in between.
Yep, thank you.
That was Josh Chen, your race winner here tonight in New York. The Sirius at the Glen belongs to the 93 car here tonight. We went over the full results, and I do have to make a correction there. Corey Steinhauser, we made the claim that he had not finished the race. He did finish his race in 33rd. He was the last finisher on the racetrack. Parker Alexander, 34th, the first retirement. Unofficial points. Take this again, unofficial points. Key of the day. I don't think a lot's going to change here. Pretty good race overall in Watkins Glen. Nothing significant happened, at least within those in the top 10. Emily Howe with your points lead, finishing this race in 6th tonight. Dylan Roberts on the podium. We talked to him. 4 points behind in 2nd. Jacob Potak, he gains a significant amount of ground. He is 3rd by 32 points. Jeremy Davis did not have the greatest of days. 102 points behind the race leader. Gabriel Mauricio made his way into the top 10 here in Watkins Glen. He is top 5 in points still over Christian Budd, Nick Doucette, who swapped places, Tyler Head, and Sean Pellig, who give themselves a little bit more safety. It's quickly becoming a conversation for that 10th spot between Brandon McKissick, who finished 16th tonight, and 11th place Christina Ryan. 25 points, the difference between those two going into Indianapolis next Sunday. Christina Ryan, Brendan McGee, Kyle Benson, Ryan Hill, they all gain spots in spades. Ryan Andrew, who was not present tonight, he loses 6 spots on the ground there. Philip Snipes, Austin Reedy, Kirk Marble rounding out your top 20 there. Jose Solis Jr. staying in that 16th spot, didn't gain or lose there. Evan Locke in 15th as well, as things sit there. But again, the conversation is really for 10th. between McKissick, Ryan, and an outside shot for both Brendan McGee and Kyle Benson, who sit in range with 2 races to go. A little further down the order, it is almost curtains for those on this page. Larry Pace, Parker Alexander, Ryan Doucette. Josh Chin, we heard from him. He's not running full-time anyway, but we won't see him until after Dover in September. Jordan Barabee, Alex Bates, Brandon Cruz, Tom Willett, Jonathan Hernandez, Lucas Davila. Some of these drivers now mathematically out of the running to make it into the chase for the Winstel Cup. And the conversation pivots to those trying to make top 35. Top 35 lock themselves in not only for the next race, but if you can get there by the end of the season, it locks you in for the first 4 races of 2026, which is going to be a very special time as well as we throw back to the 2000 season next year. Steve Brown did not have a great race, ended up retiring early. Anthony Krovac in 32nd. Mike Rasmus, who was not present tonight, 33rd in points. Brendan Coppinger gains 1 spot. He's now 34th. Chris Champeau loses 2 spots. And the gap closes a little bit more to 36. Tyler Murray, Andrew Griesbaum, Corey Cook, Craig Lautenslager, Corey Steinhauser outside looking in, trying to get top 35. If by anything, by the end of the season, to lock themselves in to the Daytona 500 next year. A wild time here at New York. It is a series at the Glen from Watkins Glen. We're glad you joined us here for a wild night of racing. It's almost the end of our summer break. No racing this Wednesday. No racing this Saturday. This championships reset for both ARCS and for ABN, the summer break. We'll be back again next Sunday. More Winstel racing, this time from the Brickyard. It's going to be a wild race in Indianapolis next Sunday, 7:45 p.m. Eastern, 4:45 p.m. Pacific. The next ABN Champ Car race next Wednesday, August 13th, 8 p.m. right here in New York in Watkins Glen. That's going to be a spectacle. We hope to see you then as well. Until then, on behalf of everyone here for Winstel, the Winstel Cup Series, all of its partners, and everyone here at ABN, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Stay safe and stay healthy. We'll see you next time at the Brickyard.